Welcome to this new series of videos. This is the Install, Configure, Manage class for NSX version 4.0. We're going to run through a quick course introduction here. We're going to hit the high points and kind of lay out the roadmap that we're going to follow for a little while as we move through this new version of NSX and how we build it out, how we deploy it, how we configure our different components, how we manage this, how we deal with this thing that we've got. And you know, the big thing here, the value here is that we're going to talk about how this all comes together and how you can use this in your data center as effectively as possible. We're going to talk about the big pieces, right? The architecture of NSX, the components that we're going to look at, how we're going to deploy the NSX manager nodes, the edge nodes, the ESXi. Well, we're not going to talk about preparing or deploying rather the ESXi host. We'll talk about preparing the ESXi hosts that you have in order to take advantage of all of the NSX stuff here. From there, we're going to start moving into things like logical networking, logical switching, logical routing, the different gateways that we have available, how we're going to put those things together. We're going to get into security. There's a lot of security stuff in NSX these days, from the distributed firewall to distributed intrusion detection and prevention systems to NSX intelligence for security policy. There's all kinds of security that we're going to go through. We're going to talk about how to use external users to log into NSX. We're going to talk about federation. So there's a lot of ground we're going to cover here. There are a lot of topics that we're going to get into as we progress. And we kind of see here the set of modules, right? These are going to be individual series of videos that we're producing to go through, the basics of NSX or preparing the infrastructure or logical switching or logical routing. All of these things are broken down into smaller pieces so that you can follow along as you have time. Now, we do have some typographical conventions that you will see. These are largely actually going to be seen in the lab environment, but we may see some of these periodically throughout the lecture. So we can see monospace fonts or bold-faced fonts to illustrate command line structures or code or UI elements or things of that nature. So you'll see a lot of these things as we progress through. Again, like I said, particularly in the labs. Now, we have a number of references: the administration guide, the installation guide, the upgrade guide. These are great documents that talk about how you're going to perform certain actions, how you're going to do certain things. And that's really the question that the documentation answers for us. And it's a great thing to have at your fingertips. Our documentation is going to be more useful to you after this class because the class here is going to talk about what it is we're doing, right? So what is a logical switch? What is the value of that logical switch? When am I going to use a logical switch? And then the documentation helps you with how to build that logical switch, how to work with that logical switch. So we use these two things once you've been through this class. We use this and then the documentation in concert so that we can more fully understand what's going on within the product and how we can better use the product. Now, we also have a number of other resources, not just our documentation, everything from the VMware communities, where we can work with and discuss all kinds of things with peers from around the world. We can also look at the communities for a variety of different documents, right? The NSX community, for example, provides all kinds of things like the NSX reference design guide is published there, for example. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the communities that's very worth taking advantage of. We also have support and hands-on labs and more classes, more stuff with VMware Learning that you can take advantage of to further help with your implementation, your learning, your skill building. When we're thinking about learning, we're really looking at all kinds of stuff, not just classes like this one that are on demand that you're taking when you have time, but we also have other instructor-led offerings where you can come into a classroom and interact with an instructor and interact with other students in the class and learn more fully. We can find more information about those classes through our Learning Paths tool. We can also come and watch more on-demand content like this through Customer Connect Learning, where you're viewing this now. And as you're continuing on your learning journey, you may want to, say, collect some certifications to showcase and illustrate that you have developed certain skills or certain knowledge. Certifications are going to help you with that. We have an entire certification track for all of our technology stacks here at VMware. Network virtualization, or NSX, what we're looking at here, that's our focus in this NSX install, configure, manage, and some of our other classes as well. Our NSX troubleshooting class, for example, or the NSX design class, those also support other certifications in the certification track that we see here. The troubleshooting class would support maybe the advanced professional deploy exam, where the design class would help support the advanced professional design certification. So this class will really support the skills and the type of knowledge you will need for the VMware Certified Professional exam in the certification track. We may also want to move beyond certifications and show some specializations, maybe with badges or other milestones that we maybe have achieved working with VMware. So badges are another great opportunity to dig in and further your credentials here at VMware. Now, that's all we have for the introduction. The introduction is pretty straightforward and just kind of shows us what we're looking at. We kind of talked through that. In the next video, we're going to start to get into what NSX is and how NSX starts to come together. We're going to start to really get into some of the architecture of the platform, and then from there we'll start working into the different detail stacks, the different bits and pieces, if you will, of NSX, and kind of build into that. So we'll see you in the next video.